Hi everyone! This week in CEEP 810, we did a lot of research about 21st century learning. When I really stopped to think about it, almost all of my education has taken place in the 21st century, and I never really stopped to think about what that means. But after doing some research over the past week, I noticed that the emphasis is really on the skills that students are going to need moving forward rather than such a big emphasis on the standards. And it doesn't mean that the content is not important, but this next part of my presentation is going to take you through some of the most essential skills students are going to need.
After researching and learning about 21st century learning, the best way I'm able to define and think about it is through the 4 C's. The 4 C's are critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, and communication. These are 4 essential skills as teachers we need to help our learners obtain throughout their education. I'm going to break down each of these skills and go through some examples and ways I've experienced and used these as a learner and educator. The first skill I'm going to talk about is critical thinking, which is defined as the practice of solving problems, among other qualities. While reading and analyzing about critical thinking, I discovered critical thinking empowers students to dig far deeper into facts instead of just memorizing information. It pushes them to ask questions and explore what is happening around them. This reminded me of the court field trip we take our 6th graders on each year. Before going, each student is assigned a role, such as judges, attorneys, jury, defendant, and depending on that role, they are given a little bit of information they have to remember and hold true during the court case. However, while the attorneys and prosecutors are asking questions and making their case to the jury, they are using a lot of critical thinking skills by developing questions on the spot and trying to influence the jury their client is innocent. All the jury members are also using critical thinking skills by processing and responding to the information they are gathering to make a decision whether or not the person is guilty. The second skill I'm going to talk about is creativity, which is defined as the practice of thinking outside the box. Personally, when I first think about the word creativity, I instantly think of art projects or writing an original piece, but after doing a lot of research this week, I was given a new way to understand it. Creativity is looking at a problem with multiple different perspectives, coming up with unique approaches, and sharing it with others. Each year, my 6th graders participate in Market Day. Each of them have to create a product along with some sort of advertisement, and after a few weeks, they have the opportunity to sell their product to other 6th graders. This project we have them do reminds me a lot of our network learning project. They have to come up with a unique idea with their group, gather materials and research about their item, and with a little trial and error, make sure their products are good enough for the market. I always love seeing the different ways they advertise their products. Some post flyers throughout the halls, others make an Instagram account, some have done a quick presentation, and it allows my students to gather different ideas and ways they can share something with an audience. The third skill I'm going to talk about is collaboration, which is defined as the practice of working together to achieve a common goal. Collaboration is an essential life skill that is probably used in almost every job in the world. It is so important that students begin to work together to solve problems and form healthy relationships with others at a young age. In my classroom, I'm constantly having my students work in groups, whether it's partnerships, small groups, large groups, etc., because I find so much value in it. Depending on the activity, sometimes I allow my students to choose their groups, or sometimes I will choose for them, because both ways provide students opportunities to grow as individuals. They need to learn that they might not always get to work with people they like to be around, and the challenges that do come about when you work with people you get along with. I continue to teach them that they might not always agree with their peers, but they need to figure out how to politely disagree, present a different idea, consider which idea will help them achieve the goal they're working towards, and compromise. This is a skill that we use daily. Sometimes it's very easy and sometimes it's very hard, but I try to have them practice this skill each day, whether they realize it or not. I also try hard to give my students opportunities to collaborate with students that are of different ages. This past year, I paired my students up with a 1st grade class at my school, and we would do some type of monthly activity with them. This gave them the opportunity to take on a different collaborative role, usually as the leader, that they may not always have in my class, but how to respect and interact with peers that are younger and may have less experience than they do. The last skill I'm going to talk about is communication, which is defined as the practice of conveying ideas quickly and clearly. Although this seems like a simple skill, I think as technology keeps developing and kids are getting so used to a digital and social media filled world, communication is a skill that is becoming lost. However, as a learner, I am and was able to use communication skills to help me grow a global perspective. When I was a sophomore at Michigan State, I was able to study abroad in China. Through the program I was in, I was given a buddy who was a college student at a university in China. Although there was a bit of a language barrier, I was able to spend quite a bit of time with my buddy in China and learn about her and her education experience. During the fall of my junior year, our buddies came to MSU for a week and a half, and I was able to share more about my life and education experience. Luckily, through certain technologies like email and Skype, I am still able to communicate with my buddy and keep a relationship.
Just to wrap things up, moving forward as educators, it's our responsibility to make our classrooms dynamic and make sure that we are continuing to teach all of these different skills that our students are going to need moving forward, such as problem-solving skills, cultural awareness, leadership, responsibility, all those skills that as our world and as technology keeps developing, that they're going to need not only in their future education, but in their future jobs as they continue to grow up in the 21st century. Thanks for watching.